Hello, patrons. This is Cyber Saloon. So today we're going to be going over ReZero Season 2, Episode 17. This episode opened up a lot of questions. The biggest ones, of course, are Beetlejuice, aka Juice, and the Witch's Cult. What we see in this episode is very different from what we know. Beetlejuice and the Witch's Cult, they're like this down-to-earth, seemingly like group that's like protecting this group of elves in the woods. And Beetlejuice, Juice seems like this like extremely like competent, insane, caring guy. A far cry from what we know and what we had in season 1, and even now with Beetlejuice gone, what the Witch's Cult has very much become, which is like a bunch of murderous psychopaths. Like it's a death cult. So it's very interesting. When I first saw them, I was like, whoa, hold on. So I love that part, and I hope we get a lot more into like what went so wrong with them, because it is a very far cry again from what they turned into, as we know. So we kind of start this episode. It's a scene between Emilia and Puck, and it looks like it's when Puck first found Emilia, because they're like Emilia's like frozen in the snow naked, and she's like she's asking Puck like what its name is, and before it answers, of course, it cuts off and goes to the forest. Which I have a small little crackpot theory out there. I might throw in at the end. It's definitely out there, but I don't know why. It just seems like that's something that they would do, but. So we get, I love this. I love the relationship Emilia and Akinda have. Like Emilia in this episode is just this happy-go-lucky like person, and Akinda is just this bitter woman, because like Emilia's like skipping through the woods, and like Akinda is still just mad salty that Subaru didn't sign her contract. There's some other bits that we get throughout the episode as well. Like every time that like Emilia talks about Subaru, like, and Akinda's over here biting her lip because she's pissed that Subaru turned her ass down. I still find it hilarious. Poor Akinda, like, but let's be fair, like, she's not a good person, but she admits that up front, because she tried to give Subaru a really bad deal. So the whole point of this is basically reliving your past and like facing certain specifically painful memories. We saw that with Subaru, of course, when he took it, and we saw it, of course, with Garfield as well. And so we cut back to like Emilia. She looks, God, I don't even think she looks like 7 or 8. And then we see a very important figure to her, which is Fortana. God, I hope I didn't butcher that. But she's basically like Emilia's mother figure. There's a big question about like what her parents are, because when Emilia's kind of explaining that, like, oh, like my parents were too busy, and Akinda kind of had this like kind of doubt look on her face. And on top of that, when Juice brings it up later near the end of the episode, like when he starts talking to Emilia about them, Fortana cuts him off and like won't let him talk about it. So there's a big air of mystery about what exactly who her parents are, because Fortana is her aunt, and she's the one who's basically raised her and has been taking care of her. But it does bring up the kind of point of like who exactly. Does she even have parents? Like, it's just like if she did, like why doesn't she really know anything about them? And not just that, why won't other people can't even talk about them to her? It's very weird. I don't know. I thought that was one of the big mysteries for this one, in this episode regarding Emilia. For me, was the very big like air of like mystery surrounding her parents, because I thought it was very odd that she doesn't seem to remember much about them. And on top of that, like when Juice tried to bring them up later in the episode, like he got cut off. Like it could be a number of things. Honestly, it could be they died and like they just haven't told her yet. I don't know. But that is definitely a big mystery to me. And let's just get this out of the way. Like, young Emilia is so adorable. She's so cute. Like throughout the whole episode, like she like goes on these like adventures, and like all like it's she does her pout face to when she gets like covered in paint. Oh my God, it's so adorable. I thought White Fox did a good job of like showing that. One of the hilarious parts when Akinda and Emilia first come across like Emilia and Fortana, the Akinda says, oh, like she thinks the younger version of like Emilia like is still really annoying, and she already hates like the regular version of Emilia, and she's not letting that go. So like, and Kinda really despises Emilia, like, and nothing's really gonna change that. And of course, we all know it's because Subaru didn't sign her contract, and Subaru actually cares about Emilia and Kinda. Like, beans are out of the bag at this point. Like, Subaru knows that she's like very manipulative and evil at this point, but and Kinda recognizes that, and she herself even says the same thing, that like, I don't like you, and I'm not a good person, so you know. So the big moment, Fortana kind of tells Emilia, like, stay right here, I'm gonna go take care of something outside. And then like, I thought it was Puck initially, but it's not. It's a spirit. But we get we see these. This one's odd to me. We see the spirit in this episode. They guide Emilia to things. It seems like they want her to know stuff that, like, I guess will be important later, because like, it starts off small, like they like guide her like out of this like kind of small kind of hidden passage in her house, and she goes outside, and this was like the holy shit moment for me. Like, I was like, is that the witches cult? I was just like, hold up, like, why are they normal and helping people? Like, they usually like brutally murder and butcher people to death, and here they are like helping this village. And then of course when Fortana is talking to a green-haired man, I'm like, yep, that's Beetlejuice, but he is now known as Juice before he turns batshit and insane. But no, he it seems normal. Him and the witches cult seem like they're like this helpful bunch of people, and so it's again, it's so interesting to see them from. There's such a far cry from what they become, and so I really enjoyed seeing like Beetlejuice and Fortana kind of talking, because it kind of gives you insight to what Beetlejuice was before he turned into the insane psychopath he obviously did. So this is mystery number 2. So mystery number 1 for me was Emilia's parents. This is mystery number 2 for me, because Fortana and Juice are talking, and he asks how Emilia's doing, and like, she kind of go like, oh, you know, you can't see her. This is connected to when Beetlejuice first sees her later during the episode. When we get there, I'll talk about that. But she's very hidden, it seems, from the village she's living. So first off, this village that they're like, all these elves are living in, it's like protected in the witch. Well, I don't know what to call them now, but Juice and like the kind of the future witch cult are kind of bringing them supplies, clothes, food, and a bunch of other stuff. And like, it's kind of like they're kind of a hidden secret from the outside world, but they don't really like mind too much, because they really like the woods. And it, like, Fortana kind of mentions too, like, where they're at, the spirits basically keep it like really nice weather all the time, with the exception of one place, which is the seal. And I really want to talk about that one, but we'll get there when I talk about it. But so she's kept secret, it seems, from I don't know if it's just the witches cult like in this episode either. It seems like a lot of the village, like, they don't really know about her that much. You see like one person kind of does. It seems like this blonde elf guy named Archie, kind of like, he checks on her a lot, but it seems like they're going out of their way to keep her like hidden. And like, why would you do that? Like, and again, like, so you add that to like, they don't want the world to know about her, and on top of that, like, her parents are kind of seemingly this mystery as well. Like, there's something going on there. Like, so I really want to know what exactly the circumstances of her birth were. And again, I don't think this is normal. Like, I don't know. It could be a lot of things. I'm not trying to sound like a crackpot guy, but it's just like, it's very weird to me that on top of like an air of mystery surrounding her parents, that she's also kind of like, her specifically is like kept secret. And we'll get to it, but Beetlejuice's reaction to when he first sees her as well. So this part was adorable. I was like, oh my god, this is so cute. Like, so so after Emilia had like snuck out like of the woods, like she had fallen down a couple times, and she goes back in the house, and like the spirit's trying to like they clean up a couple like of her cuts on her face and her knees, and they didn't like cover up, like, her clothes are dirty. So Emilia like throws paint on herself. I'm just like, oh my god, this is so wholesome. This is too wholesome, dude. Like, it's just like, I know that like so many terrible things happen there in the future, it just drives the knife home. But no, I loved all the moments, like all the little adventures that Emilia tries to get up to in this episode. So it seems, this was weird. It seems like, I really like this though. Fortana and Juice have a thing. Like, it's very clear that they both like each other, and they definitely both care for each other. But it seems like Juice, I figured he was like like 30, 40, like not even 40, like 25, 30, somewhere around there. But he's a lot older than Fortana is, and Fortana is like, I think she's a decent amount of decades old. So I'm curious like how like old exactly Juice is at this point. It seems like, I don't know if there's something that is specific to the witches cult, like they have some type of like slow aging process, but it seems like they're both very old. So it kind of cuts back to Subaru and the crew. And so last episode I had said that Garfield, like I thought it was implied, but it was the wrong thing. Garfield saw Emilia and Subaru kissing. That's not what happened. If you guys remember that kind of letter he left Emilia before he went to go to the mansion, it was like, he wrote her like a little love letter. That's what Garfield was talking about, and like Garfield read it, and like I love Garfield and the Subaru relationship they have. It's like a brotherly, like best friend kind of thing. And Garfield and Otto are giving Subaru shit about it, and it's actually really funny. And Ram also kind of gives them shit about it too. And then the two small like elves, like the ones with pink hair, Rizuru, and I forgot the other one. Garfield calls them grandma because they're both really old, but they both come up to him like when they were telling Subaru about like Garfield's backstory. They also left out one major thing, and we see that like one of them is like she looks injured. So this could be one of two things. She's either dying, one, because like again, like mentioned that like the original Rizuru was like a failed experiment at cloning. So I don't know if this copy is like currently dying, or that this is what I think it is. Okay, I think that what the last thing, because they said it's important about liberating Sanctuary. These are the two things I'm banking it's on. It involves, one, it's either about Satella, or two, it's about the encroaching Great Rabbit. And this is why I say that. Every time that Sanctuary has gone to shit, which is a lot, it's always involved Satella showing up. If you guys remember in the first core, there's like a couple of it's like episode 9, I think, or 10 of like the first core. Satella just shows that the hell up. And I remember I was so shook when that happened. I was like, how the hell did she even get out? Because So I'm curious to see what the hell that's about, and I think it involves both in the Great Rabbit, because we know that if Sanctuary, like if Emilia doesn't overcome the trial, then the Great Rabbit's going to come, because they're attracted to like high sources of mana, which obviously this place has. And I think it involves both of them. I think that one, it has something to do with Satella, and two, it has something to do with the Great Rabbit coming. I don't think it's quite the danger yet, but I think like it's in danger of like it's on its way, basically, because those are the two biggest things that face Sanctuary. So I'm curious, the Satella one especially, because I remember that came out of nowhere. Like I remember Subaru came back from like his trot from Inkinda's, and then Satella was just there, and she had already murdered everyone, and I don't know how the hell she even found that place to begin with, or if I don't know. I thought that was just kind of weird. I don't know if she's sealed somewhere within Sanctuary, or she's, I don't know, somewhere nearby, or I don't know. But I do think it involves like both of those things. So then it cuts back to like young Emilia, and we see the seal. Okay, every time that Juice like talks about Fortana, he asks about the seal. I think Satella is kept within that vault. I remember like she's the only witch who's not actually physically dead. Like Inkinda and like all the rest of them were killed, but Satella's the only one living that was like sealed. And you see it's like this big ass like vault. It looks like it's made out of like adamantium or some shit. Like, and he's constantly asked about it, and like I think that Satella is sealed within that vault. I don't know what else it could be, because like it's huge. It's like big ass vault, and I think that is where Satella is healed. And there's some connection between Satella and Satella and Emilia. I think the authors confirmed they're not the same person, which I didn't figure, but I do think we might see like how they're connected in some way because of this. Because this episode, again, I do think Satella is very much within that seal, and I do think that something's going to happen to release that seal. So this was the big moment. This is like another kind of like, this was the other big mystery. When Emilia's kind of out, again, it's really weird, because if you notice, these spirits seem to be doing this intentionally. Like, they're the ones who guided her towards the vault. They're the ones who are kind of like making her like go to all these random places to learn information. And it's very odd that they're guiding her to all these places that it's like they want her to see these places, and I'm very curious as to why. So this is the big part. When Emilia's out, she sees Juice, and she tries to hide, and of course, like, Juice sees her. When Juice first sees her, he's like, oh yeah, like, okay, like, hey, like, do you need help getting? But then when he realizes it's Emilia, like, he just freaks out, like, specifically because of her. And, like, you see him, he just starts crying tears of happiness. He seems a lot, it's very reminiscent of, like, how his, like, batshit, like, behavior is, like, from season 1. And, like, I don't think it's just to him. I think if Emilia came out to, and anyone who was in the witches cult saw her, like, they would have a similar reaction. I think it's because that cult and Juice know about the witches, and I think that Juice has in some way seen Satella before, and he knows that Emilia uncannily, like, looks exactly like her, because, like, he just starts breaking down, and I found that very odd. And so I think that they have some knowledge, and he may know the connection, because, like, they ask about her, like, Emilia every time. It's like she's some, like, guarded secret in the village. So I'm really curious to see what exactly that connection with Satella actually is. So then it cuts to, like, Fortana, like, Juice, and Emilia, and they seem it's really cute, actually. They seem to have this kind of family dynamic. And Emilia, like, makes a comment that they look like mommy and daddy, and of course not look like them, but they act like them. And they obviously they like each other, so they get kind of like, a little bit nervous about it. But so I thought that was really funny. But they also find out she's a spirit user, and I guess they're extremely rare because all these spirits keep showing up. But again, it's very odd to me that the spirits, like, keep trying to show her, like, all these places. There's an agenda there. Like, I'm really curious to why they're going out of what they're doing in the first place. I don't know if Puck is somehow influencing them before she ever meets Emilia. I don't know. But we also see that this is where Emilia gets her, like, has her, like, why promises mean so much to her. Fortana, like, gives a speech that, like, if you're gonna keep a promise, like, if you break it, you betray that person's trust, and, like, like, they're less likely to ever trust you again. And promises are, like, a big deal. They're not something to just be given out, like, all the time. Like, if you're gonna make a promise, you have to keep it, and that's it, which connects to, like, why Emilia, like, values it. So when someone makes a promise to her, that's why she got so upset at Subaru, and that's why she got pissed at Puck as well, is because, like, her foundation of, like, why promises are so important kind of stem here from Fortana, as to why, like, you should never break someone's trust. And of course that's why she got so pissed at Subaru. So that was a cool moment as well. So this was the curious part, because when Juice brings up, like, oh, he almost brings up something about her parents, and then Fortana just cuts him the hell off. Which I thought, again, there's a lot of, like curious things in this episode, like her parents, like that was, like, my first one. Like, there's something there. I don't know if she even has parents, because, like, I don't know, like, it's just, like, because every time, like, she's, like, I don't know, that's stupid. Like, she has parents, but, like, there's something there, because, like, every time they're brought up, it's, like, done in a mysterious way. Because when Juice tries to bring them up, like, he tries to talk about her parents, but, like, she cuts him off. So it could be something, guys, as simple as she got murdered. It doesn't have to be some, like, conspiracy that, like, her parents somehow got killed. But that one explained why Emilia's kind of kept such a secret within the village itself, and that's why I kind of, like, suspect that there's something about her lineage that is not normal. So that's why I kind of, like, I don't know what, there's something up with her parents. And then of course, it almost ends off on a good note, like Fortana and, like, Emilia are hugging, like, Emilia's like, okay, Juice, we'll see you again. But because it's ReZero, it's got to end on a bad note. So we see Regulus show up. For those of you who don't remember, in the first episode of season 2, those are the Regulus, and I forgot the other one's name, the shark tooth one. Those are the ones who did Rim dirty. They're the ones who, like, ate her memory and, like, turned into basically a living, like, a husk. And they killed a bunch of those other people too. Regulus serves greed, and we see him show up at the very end. So I'm very curious to see what exactly happens the next episode. There's so much stuff that happens in the episode. Like so much is thrown up in the air. Like I really can't wait to see what the next episode has. I think we're gonna witness in the next episode. I'm pretty confident we'll witness why Juice turns into Beetlejuice, and very probably why the witch's cult turns into a death murder cult. And I hope we get more in the seal too. Again, I'm 100% certain that's Satella, but I am confident in the next episode as well, saying that whatever Subaru's going to talk about with the little Rizuru clones, it's going to involve Satella and the Great Rabbit, because again, those, remember, like earlier in the first core of the season, those two are the ones that show up and kill everybody. Satella shows up. God, I think Subaru's in there too long, and Satella just shows up and murders everybody. And then if he doesn't do it in time, the Great Rabbit also shows up and just eats everybody. So you really can't win with Subaru. He's also got to, don't forget too, he's also got to protect. He's got to go to the mansion too, because the witch's call attacked the mansion. So I'm curious how he's going to deal with all these problems at once. But again, this episode was great. I definitely can't wait to see the next one. And let me know, what you guys think. Am I a crackpot? Do you think there's something up with Emilia's parents? Again, I think it's really weird how they're kind of mysteriously dealt with. And also, do you think that the seal is Satella as well? Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, especially all the mysteries surrounding this episode. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.